I think big arms are king shit.
Okay, fair enough.
You cannot lead a nation of men.
Fair enough. I'm
Smelly, gross, sword slamming on the wooden Viking table men without big, nasty arms. However, if you're just one of these little TikTokers training only arms, you can convince the regulars. But if I don't see traps in an upper back and a chest on you, I'm pushing you aside on the Chipotle line, and you're going to do nothing about it, you big-armed freak. There are reasons to train other than vanity.
Nope.
But I neither know any of them, nor do I care. Which muscles are we trying to train to look jacked? I've expressed my opinion in a few videos about both ladies and men. But Scott, I almost said women and the men, to quote that Riley Reid song.
Shout out Riley Reid. Who's Riley Reid?
Riley Reid is an adult film star.
Oh, okay.
Goated
for real, bussin'
FR, and she has a rap that you can Google. She did a little rap song, and she is Caucasian, but she did say words that typically only African Americans say.
Oh, okay.
And I think a lot of sensitive whites found that controversial, and 100% of black men found it amenable because Riley Reid could get it.
Oh, nice. Well, I walked right into that.
Yes. So Riley Reid's walked into a lot of stuff.
Oh, boy.
No first timers here. Pak, if I'm training muscles to look jacked, clearly calves are the most important. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's hamstrings, isn't it?
Yes, it's hamstrings, and everybody cares about your legs and how juicy they are, and that's all you should care about, and squat every day, and Olympic weightlifters had it right all along.
They really did.
But let's rank briefly ish every muscle group in terms of how jacked it will make you look if you were to focus on that muscle group. I'll start with lats, and I'll say that having a big pair of lats makes you look wider, makes your waist look smaller, and therefore allows you to even be a bit chunkier if you have the genetics for big lats, but it will get you to stand out in t-shirts, without t-shirts, from the front, from the back, from the side, maybe not so. But overall, lat training and prioritizing lat training, I think, is a great way to appear more jacked. So I would rate the lats as A to S tier in terms of being an important muscle group to really hammer for you to look jacked.
Agreed. Lats give you a presence. You have to turn sideways for shit.
Yeah. Cramp.
Where did you cramp your hand?
My hand.
Idiot.
Loser.
You haven't been jacking off enough.
Yeah, I don't jack off with the left.
Overreached. So lats give you that big lat energy.
The brain there. You got it, Mike. Ninth video. Say things.
Lats are dope. Just to be devil's advocate.
Oh, okay.
I'm charging the devil $500 an hour as his barrister, as you folks say in the United Kingdom.
Shout out United Kingdom.
Lats don't really pop from the front unless you do a lot of lat spreads. So you can hide them shits. Especially if your arms are big, they can just cover up your lats entirely. And also, if you're wearing a t-shirt and you're kind of sitting down at a Chipotle maybe, if you have jacked forearms and you're squeezing the fucking life out of the burrito like it's toothpaste, people know you're jacked. Lats, they might not be astute to. So in the lifting community, lats are goated. In the non-lifting community, they're high-ranking, but there are other muscles that are at least as high-ranking and maybe even more important.
Fair enough. No, I'm empathetic to that. I'll downgrade them to just A versus A to S. Moving on to upper back, including traps and I guess rear delts. We'll group them together.
Sure.
No?
Traps, rhomboids, rear delts, teres major, teres minor.
Let's group them all together just for the sake of this. So, I think that having a solid upper back, I like how you put it. For the freaks, big traps.
Huge deal.
Rear delts, just
upper traps for everyone. The Tom Hardy traps look is never a bad time.
That's true, man. Like in Bane, shout out Bane and Tom Hardy. The physique that Tom Hardy had, he looked jacked for like, oh, my friend who does wrestling, and he's pretty jacked.
For most people, that's the most jacked you can get.
But it was just the traps that were carrying the physique.
Literally.
Which was crazy. Yeah, so, yeah, I agree. Upper traps for the majority of people, goated. Back thickness for the freaks. You know that somebody's serious about lifting when they're thickle.
Yes, and the opposite is true, that if someone claims to be serious, but they don't have a thick upper back, you know they're a clown.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. That's where you can differentiate between the boys and the men, or the girls and the women.
Scott?
Overall, I'd say B to A for upper back in terms of like prioritizing it to look jacked. If you're prioritizing lats and upper back, having a thick and wide back is definitely going to lead to you looking more jacked, even if you don't have like a solid pair of legs or even arms.
If you have no legs at all.
Exactly. Well, shout out to those people. I'm rolling with the shout outs now. All right, moving on to the chest. Obviously biased, blessed genetically, I guess. I train with my chest.
You're not blessed. You're gifted. You're chosen.
That's
oh my God! Look at this.
Oh.
Look at this. Scott, are you seeing this? Freak shit. That we got ourselves a thumbnail.
We're sitting like this now for the rest of the talk.
That's it.
I'm a bit far though. Let's move it. I've committed to the bit now. So a solid chest, I think, can be a very easy hack, even a gimmick, to appear more jacked to appear more jacked in general, even if other muscle groups are lacking. You're looking jacked from the side, from the front, and especially focusing on upper chest will allow you to be standing out more.
Upper chest is S tier because the shelf armor plated look, unless you're being viewed only from behind by some kind of coward that's sneaking up, as soon as from the side and the front, people catch a glimpse of that shit, that's it, bro. They know they're dealing with masculine energy. Remember that it was a documentary film about your country, 300?
Yeah.
Remember the steroid wolf at the beginning?
Yeah.
Even he had an upper chest.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he had all the bodybuilding muscles, little small waist and everything.
Shout out to that joke. You made it, I think, one more time.
Oh, I've made it hundreds of times.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really all I know about Greece is that the 300 movie was literally filmed there in the year 1500 AD.
Yeah. And they just AI colored it again back then.
Yeah, it was just like false color. That's the only thing that was different.
At the end of the video, we'll reveal the best exercise for each muscle group. Not really, but maybe. We'll see. Whatever. Keep watching to find out.
Or just to monetize on your views.
Exactly. Just keep watching, please.
Arms, are we doing together, or is it biceps, triceps separately, Pak?
I was going to do them separately.
Okay.
So, biceps, actually, we can do them together. I think that makes more sense because then we're just breaking it down. I just noted it separately for some reason. So, arms, I would say, are a hack that you can be lacking in everything else. And if you're a genetic freak or you've like absolutely blasted your arms, you can give normies, but like a specific type of normies, the illusion that you're a lifter only in specific clothing, but you are a bit of a one pony trick. So if you, because there are people out there that just blast arms and sort of neglect everything else or like train everything else minimally, where, in certain t-shirts, if they're tight enough, if the sleeves are high enough for the people at the store, you'll be like, oh, well, solid arms. But then if back, upper back, chest are lacking and shoulders as well, you are not really, like the real lifters know. What do you think? Are you an arms guy?
I think big arms are king shit.
Okay, fair enough.
You cannot lead a nation of men.
Fair enough. I'm
smelly, gross, black bread and beer, ale drinking, sword slamming on the wooden Viking table men without big, nasty arms. However, everything you said is totally right. If you're just one of these little TikTokers training only arms, you can convince the regulars. But if I don't see traps in an upper back and a chest on you, I'm pushing you aside on the Chipotle line, and you're going to do nothing about it, you big-armed freak.
Sure.
The other thing is you got to have both biceps and triceps. That's the thing with arms. People train arms and they think it's just biceps. It's cool. It's got a little ball shape in there. Nobody's going to look at your arms twice if your biceps are big, but you got small triceps. If you have big triceps and a big chest, it's a dope look. But if you just get some big biceps along with it, it really completes the picture. It's like, well, you're from the UK, a frothy beer. You can't just have the beer part. You got to have the foam. But if it's all foam, it's nonsense. There is how I see the arms.
Fair enough. I agree, but I just think that you can have okay arms and still look very jacked if you have everything else. But
if you have small arms and everything else, you can't look jacked as well.
Can you not?
I think you can look jacked to people who take you seriously. Like if I see a power lifter who has just yoked upper back, but small arms, I'm like, damn. But if I tell my friends, look, that guy's jacked, they'll be like, why is arms small? Then I have nothing to tell them because I basically lied to them. Big arms, if you want to be considered universally jacked, you cannot negotiate on big arms. Like the U.S. doesn't negotiate with terrorists. They don't negotiate about big arms either.
Fair enough.
Trump 2024.
I was trying to be inclusive for those who are not blessed with the best
Fuck
arms.
them. Are you serious? No.
RP
You're going to bias the fucking your analysis to include pathetic people with pathetic arm genetics? Are they even people at all? I wonder. Just kidding. I don't wonder, because who thinks about small arm people? What a waste of memory and brain space.
You heard it here, folks. There's no hope for you. Might as well not lift. Do some sport.
Do something else. Play tennis. Enjoy your life. Leave the lifting to the people who are interested in big arms.
So I'd put arms, what? You'd put them, what, A, S tier?
Are you out of your mind? SS tier.
Thank you.
Ugh, that came out wrong.
Oh, wow, yeah. Okay, I mean,
Super
you can
Saiyan.
say it. Super Saiyan, yeah, exactly. Or super not
Saying. Don't say that.
Don't saying. You know what I'm saying.
Oh, I know. I see your bald head.
Crazy thing is that when you're bald, when you don't shave, so when you're less bald than when you're bald, you look more bald.
Yes. Yes. Right now, I look like a very old man. But if I shave my head, I look like a man that's younger by several months.
Yeah, it's a different look, though. You look wiser now. Wrestling coach, Soviet Union.
Jerry Sandusky.
Yes, exactly.
Scott, is that cool to say?
Yeah.
It's cool because it's wrong on technical grounds.
I'd rate arms as A to B tier.
You're out of your fucking mind.
I think that if you have the chest, the back, you can still be perceived as, oh, here comes the jack dude. But still important, and you can go a long way with solid arm genetics. All right, moving on to legs as a whole, and I'll include glutes there as well. I don't think that the legs, and again, blessed with solid leg genetics, big legs, got the juicy booty as well. 600-pound squat, whatever the people need to hear so they don't slam their keyboards and lose their minds.
Let them slam.
But I would rate the legs pretty low as far as a muscle group that you need to look jacked into, unless you live in a country where you're wearing shorts all the time. Even if you wear shorts, like if you wear normal size shorts, nobody's seeing your legs. But let me put it this way: if you're a loser who completely skips leg day, or somebody who has the worst leg genetics, when you're in shorts, especially if you have horrible calf genetics as well, you can have a bit of a flamingo effect, but only us, the losers that care about that sort of stuff, will clock and be like, look at his calves though.
Yeah, nobody cares if you skip leg day unless you're a hardcore lifter and then you're a clown. Get out of our community. Totally agreed. What was the old adage? What if they put on a war but no one came? Well, same as what if you trained legs? No one gave a shit. No one showed up. The news media didn't even cover your leg workout, believe it or not. There is something in the community when you're like at the Arnold and there's some guy in front of you in line for like the burrito restaurant and he's wearing a warm-up of some other country and you look down and his ass is sticking out like 3 feet. You're like, holy, what is that guy? You know he's for sure jacked, even if you can't see the rest of him.
Yep.
But other than that, like, now look, calves are included here, yes?
Yes.
Big ass calves with shorts on that are longer, big shoulders and arms, and a wide back and big chest. is the aesthetic look. There's something missing if you don't have big calves. So calves are, I would say, C tier, whereas the rest of your leg is F tier.
F tier, that low. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
D tier.
D tier, yeah, I like,
Calves are C tier.
Because you'll wear your swimming shorts 3 times. I don't know. Maybe Australians are watching this and are like, bro, my legs are exposed all day. Like, if they look like twinks. But I don't think anybody looks
Nobody
at them.
cares except for other lifters. The way you give a shit about if someone's legs are big is if you're not genetically gifted for strength, you're not good looking, you're not tall, you got into some niche weird fitness bullshit, you got your low bar squat up to 315, your legs look like you lift, and you have dog shit upper body genetics. You use the fact that your legs are bigger than the average bros to pretend that you're somehow superior to him as he makes out with the girl that you used to be in love with that would never look in your direction.
100%. Yeah,
That's really it.
I agree. Moving on to shoulders, before we almost conclude this with a mini TDD at the end, a couple of minor things. I personally think that broad shoulders, obviously, like that may depend on your structure as well, but blasting your shoulders, especially your side delts and your rear delts, which we included in the upper back sort of grouping, can make you look visibly more jacked and are relatively important. And it's a mistake many of us have made in the past of neglecting them.
Same. I've started training my shoulders seriously for the first time ever, like a few months ago.
Really?
Yes. And because I used to just train them like enough that they weren't obviously weak, but my shoulders have a very high MRV. And so now I've been training them more. They've just like blown up. And it's a very different look. It's starting to like my wife and I do jiu-jitsu together. And she's having trouble in some positions now just because my shoulders got bigger. And it definitely, I can see it in my own look. It's sweet. Big delts, man. If you have big side delts, look at a Jared Feather type of look. You look big in everything. Exactly. That's the thing about big side delts. There is no angle in which you can't tell. It's the universal make you look jacked muscle. Someone with wide back, big chest, and big shoulders, that's the one excuse you have not to have big arms. Because someone's like, who cares about arms? That guy's 4 feet wide. That is a thing. If you have big arms but really small delts, there are ways you can look jacked, but you got to kind of finagle your way into them. You got to surprise people. You'll be sitting in the bleachers at a women's middle school basketball game, and other people that are there of your own age are like, hey, you're that guy, right? You're like, yeah, like I heard you were jacked. You have to like lift up your sleeve to show them stuff. Whereas if you have big delts, they don't ask any questions. They just come up to you and they're like, what are you doing after the game? You're like, depends on what you're doing. And she's like, oh my God, ah. And then all of a sudden you met a nice 26-year-old woman. Her name is Marcy. And she broke my heart back in the day when I lost her in that one boat accident. Scott, you remember? I don't want to talk about this anymore.
R.I.P. Marcy. But yeah, definitely agree. And
she's not resting in peace. She was mangled by a propeller of a ship.
Well, she should have gone uni. She should have studied and avoided that tragic ending.
I told her to skip college to come on that cruise ship with me.
I'm sorry.
Uni.
Which is school in the UK.
University.
Why college? Anyways, I mean,
why college?
Shout out America.
We invented the university.
That's true. That's true.
Didn't Greece invent the university?
We did, but we
actually, I think there was the first university ever was in like Africa somewhere. We're not allowed to make jokes. Keep talking.
And now that the Greek prime minister is calling, like, you had one job, the Ministry of Tourism, and who the fuck is going to come to our country now? Now they're going to Africa. You had one job. You didn't know what to say.
Tell them about the universities. Why did you switch into your Kyriakos voice for that one? Is Kyriakos the tourism minister of Greece?
He is Greece.
Good enough.
Period.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly, like going back to the whole arm talk, as you said, like now I'm looking at you, you have sleeves that are covering your arms, mostly, obviously, I know that you're jacked, but chest, shoulders, if those side delts are popping, but that's a huge thing that many of us, especially those who are more strength training inclined, doing side delts
not functional
wasn't a thing. And side delt training, super easy to do. You can blast them. I would rank them A tier, A to S tier for looking jacked.
Love it. Agreed.
So forearms, very quickly, you touched on them. I think having a solid set of forearms can make a big difference.
Yes.
Regardless of whether you're a freak or not. Like if your forearms are popping,
It begs the question too, even if the rest of you isn't big, if you have big forearms, of how good are your genetics? And if you really took lifting seriously, you could probably blow up.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true, but it sure feels true.
It's 100%. So I'd rate forearms pretty high. Unfortunately, like there are one of those muscle groups that for some people may not really grow a whole lot.
Yeah. And some people have really big forearms genetically, but the rest of them is never going to get impressive. A tier for me.
Yep, same. And last but not least,
Don't say it.
what?
What are you going to say?
Abs.
Fuck, he said it.
Was that what you had?
It has nothing to do with making you look jacked.
And yet, so many products, programs
To make you look ripped.
make you look ripped, which is a false promise. Like, here comes the fatso propaganda. Like, with abs, like, yeah, if you are shirtless all the time, I'd argue that, and I'll use The Rock as an example, who has bad genetics in terms of his, like, ab shape. Like, he doesn't have that six-pack look. It still looks insanely
I didn't
jacked.
even know that. That's how irrelevant
Extreme.
abs are.
Yeah. Abs, whatever.
Abs is something you have when you're 15 years old and you're trying to look jacked for when you're texting your girlfriends. That's precisely when the utility of abs dies on the vine. When you're in your 20s and you're at the club and a man grabs you, you turn around. You don't look down at his abs. You look up at his side delts. And if you look to one side and you look to the other side, you can't see where he ends and the horizon begins. You're going home with him, mostly because he is home, because he's the size of the earth.
And that's real, folks. Real science, real doctors. You know the vibes.
Vibes are dope.